The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fighting with Friends. Bonjour, bonjour. It's UFC Paris. Takes place this Saturday at 6 p.m. South African time. With me today, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world, and our chief analyst is, of course, Brother Gaia.
Yes,
Brother
let's
Gaia.
go.
What's happening, bro? I did it correctly the second time there. But yeah, we are here, BG. It is UFC Paris.
Let's go.
And as always, bro, we will start
At the top of the card. Let's go.
at the top of the card. We see our main event of the evening. We have Nassourdine Imavov coming up against Caio, the natural Borralho. The homeboy, the local boy, Nassourdine Imavov, is the number 2 ranked middleweight. He's 29 years old, 16-4-0, 7 by KO, 4 by sub, 7 first round finishes. The man is on a 4-fight win streak. Last time out, starching Israel Adesanya in the second round. I got caught. Coming up against Caio Borralho, who is number 7 ranked middleweight. He's 32 years old, a record of 17-1-0 with a 14-fight win streak. Last time out, he beat Jared Cannonier by unanimous decision. So BG, here we are back in the middleweight division, where the scars are still seemingly healing from the Dricus du Plessis fight. But we have to move forward, bro, and we do have quite an interesting clash on our hands here. It is Nassourdine Imavov versus Caio Borralho. So what you got for us here, bro?
Yeah, look, firstly, stoked about the time of the fight. It's gonna be a decent time for us, so we don't have to go to sleep and wake up in early hours of the morning to watch a fight card. And yeah, this is a very cool main event, especially during the time where there's a new middleweight king. It just means that the top 5, top 6 is nice and locked off. Fluffy and RDR is entered the race, and it just makes the middleweight a lot more exciting than it's ever been, right? So instead of seeing like a back and forth between Izzy and Robert Whittaker. But this fight, I think, is going to be a 5-round war. I don't think anyone's going to stop each other. I know a lot of people are comparing their fight styles by the similar opponents that they've shared, right, in terms of Jared Cannonier. But I still think that that's not much you can really work from or take away from. In terms of how they're going to line up with each other, I think Caio Borralho's got a better well-rounded attributes in terms of being able to wrestle, jiu-jitsu, strike, put the volume on you. He does get hit, right? He does get hit, but he's got a lot of durability. And I think at the age of that they're at, 29, and these guys are in that prime position to be the next guard of the middleweight division alongside Dricus and Khamzat, from that 31 going down to about 27-year-olds like Fluffy and Hernandez, for example. Like, they're producing very good talent, and this is this kind of fight, high implications for the middleweight division, and also just like a fight where the winner here is going to put a statement on where they stand amongst that top 7 or top 6, if you want. But I'm going to favor Caio Borralho. He's going to be on the down in terms of the reach, and Imavov fights very well from that reach advantage. If you saw the way he fought against Izzy, he was popping out very good jabs, good kicks, and he fought from his distance, which is phenomenal. And that's something you don't often see against someone like Izzy, where he's getting beaten on the outside, right? Imavov can wrestle as well. He's got good takedown defense, and he can put on some offensive wrestling on you. But I think Borralho's just got the overall better rounded game. His jiu-jitsu is better. His wrestling is, they're kind of level there, but I think Borralho is still a little bit better. I think he's got better cardio as well, and he's herky-jerky when he's busy striking. He's something that can throw off someone like Imavov, who's more of like a one-shot, two-shot selector before he actually goes and throws maybe a 4 or 5 punch combo. It doesn't really do that much. I'm kind to see who's going to win that front foot battle in the beginning. Who's going to lead the dance? It's going to be I'm keen to see where the fight's going to go, because I think both gentlemen believe that they got the better game over each other. I think Imavov thinks he's the better wrestler and striker, And I think Borralho also believes that. And what you're gonna get there is a they're gonna jostle for position a lot, or it could make for a slow pace, a little bit of a boring fight. But I don't think Imavov and Borralho, based on the back and forth that's been going on throughout the year on Twitter, I think they're both coming in there knowing also what's at hand here. I think they both also realize that the winner's gonna get Chimaev next. I think that's gonna produce a fantastic fight, both on good streaks. Both have beaten some top names in the middleweight division. Both have beaten contenders in the middleweight division. And I just think we're gonna see a good brawl that's gonna make a statement for what we can expect in the landscape of the middleweight division going forward the next couple of years.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. You did mention Caio Borralho as your pick here. Caio Borralho is starting as the 1.75 favorite. Nassourdine Imavov is at 2.10. So a very, very close line here. If we have a closer look here, I think this one to go the distance is 1.57 and not at 2.25. So very close lines here either way. You did mention, like I said, Caio Borralho is your favorite, but we talk a little bit about Nassourdine Imavov. I mean, this man has been perennially slept on, and he ended up finishing Izzy Adesanya, bro. So if he's gonna win this fight, how does he get it done, bro?
I think he fights on the outside, uses that range, similar to the way he fought against Izzy, right? If you watch the tape on that fight, he was basically managing the distance the whole time. He never really allowed Izzy to get started. He was one that was always starting the fire. He was, that started the combinations. He controlled where that fight needed to go by attacking the leg, attacking the body. He utilized a lot of jabs, and he just basically kept Izzy fighting from his distance. I think that's where Imavov is gonna try and take the fight. And I believe it can be something that can work. I just think the style of Caio Borralho is suffocating, man. If you think about how he fights, he stays on you. He keeps the pace on you the whole time. He just drains you every single round. And he just ups the volume every single round. He increases that pressure. So for Imavov, he's going to have to fight from the outside. Maybe even show Borralho that he's not afraid to even get in the wrestling, because he can wrestle. People forget, man, Imavov isn't really a predominantly kickboxer. The dude is a very well-rounded and extremely good grappler. He did train with some of the Khabib camp before, so Imavov's got it there. He's got a good well-round game, and I just think if he fights on the outside and utilizes his jab, brings in that high kick when it's necessary, maybe attack the low kick the whole time, attack the body, bring Borralho's hands down, and then he can go for that high kick, which is one of his favorite weapons. But I expect Imavov to make it a dogfight, bruh. It's just a matter of nutrition, right? Who's gonna be stronger when they get to round 4, round 5? And that's why I'm going to favor Borralho.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. And if you have any thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments. I'm pretty undecided on this one, to be honest. I think that the close line is a fair indication, because I don't want to. I also feel like Borralho is going to get the job done, because coming out of that fighting Neds camp, we know the game planning is pretty much second to none at the moment. I think they won Gym of the Year last year. So yeah, I do think Borralho is going to get it done, but we discounted Imavov so much in the Adesanya fight that I don't want to make the same mistake again. So I do think Imavov a live dog, but maybe Borralho just enough to get it done at the end of the day. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, PG.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, the performance against his last 3 performances that he had, especially the one with Izzy, really made me realize what kind of fighter he is. He's very intelligent. He's not this. I think because he's quiet, people kind of neglect what he's like. They don't really hear him too much online. We don't see a lot of promotion done to him from the UFC as much as they promoted Caio Borralho, for example. So I think we forget what he's all about. In that fight against Izzy, I thought, look, this guy's actually like he's on high level stuff. The way he was able to select his shots, the way he was able to move that fight against Izzy, and then get to that knockout. These people are saying it's an old Izzy, it's a bit of the older god. Izzy is still dangerous at 36 years old. The man's not washed out. He can still, in my opinion, he's still high top 5 caliber. So for Imavov to go into that fight and navigate the first round that way, and then set up his finishing, isn't something that was what's it called, a fluke or by luck. The man set up that knockout. He set it up really well. So yeah, I think he's deserving of being in the position that he's in his career right now. He's not there by mistake.
Yeah, you alluded to his record a little bit there, BG. And if we just have a quick look at it, we did mention Adesanya. He's beaten Allen, Cannonier, who Borralho also beat, the Litze, Chris Curtis, and then falling short against Sean Strickland, but also beating Joaquin Buckley. So you can see by this man's record that, like you said, no fluke here, bro. No fluke at all. And I think it might be time to start, if you haven't yet, start putting some respect on Nassourdine Imavov's name, ladies and gentlemen. Please. But let us know your thoughts in the comments there. BG, do you have any final words on this one?
Hype. Just hype. That's all I can tell you.
Indeed.
It's two fighters that I'm big fans of. I mean, I was talking about Borralho for a while. Even before Drickus got the championship, I was like, oh, this dude can fight, bro. Wherever he is, he can fight. And I remember when we did a preview together about him, you were like, he has to be a killer. If he has fight or die. You know what I mean?
I remember all the way back then, yeah.
Yeah, so
good memories.
I'm stoked for the matchup for sure. Big, and the timing of it is perfect.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, of course, Caio Borralho fighting out of the Fighting Nerds gym. His teammate is coming up just before him here. We have Mauricio Ruffy coming up against Benoît Saint Denis. And this one is set to be an absolute barn burner with a first round KO very much on the cards for Mauricio Ruffy, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Mauricio Ruffy is 29 years old. He's 12-1-0 on a 7-fight streak, 11 by KO with 8 first round finishes, beating King Green in the very first round in his last fight. He's coming up against Benoît Saint Denis, who is 29 years old, 14-3-0, 4 wins by KO, 10 by sub. 7 first round finishes. Last time out, he beat the can of Carl Prepolek by sub. Before that, he was on quite a bad slide. So whenever this guy seems to come up against top level opposition, he does tend to struggle, BG.
Does.
Is it going to be more of the same year? Is it going to be another highlight reel knockout for Mauricio Ruffy, or do you see anything different here, BG?
Yeah, I think Ruffy's gonna silence the French crowd this weekend. I'm sorry for the French guys, but I know he's the guy. He's your guy. There's still Cyril Gane. There's Bafetimi Gomez that's fighting later. But Saint Denis, there was so much hype around him. And then, like you mentioned, whenever he came up against higher caliber fighters, they just seemed to school him. I mean, Moicano is not even top 5, and Moicano took him to school. So, yeah, I think Ruffy he's just waiting to be placed in the top 5. That's how good he is. And I think stylistically also, it's going to set up a fight. It's gonna walk into Ruffy's hands. Because Benoît Saint Denis is the kind of fighter that, he's gonna walk in there and be aggressive, put the pressure on you, try and get the KO, keeps your chin up high, and just start slugging it out with you, right? That's the kind of fighter he is. If that doesn't work for you and he sees you still standing there, he's gonna try and shoot on you. I just don't think it's gonna work against Mauricio Ruffy. Mauricio Ruffy is not only is a good fighter going forward, but he's phenomenal going backwards as well. His shot selection is absolutely insane. His craftiness is something that a lot of fighters seem to they struggle with. They find it a bit hard to read. When he fought against Lintop, that he was the only reason why the fight went to decisions because Lintop had insane durability. But it was also a fight that showed us what Ruffy can do for 3 rounds. He could still put it on you for 3 rounds. He was dropping combinations, some insane counter striking. And I'm grateful that it was Lintop because Lintop is actually a lot bigger than Mauricio Ruffy. He's not even the same weight class. But it allowed us to see what Ruffy can do. It's almost like a fight, no? If Ruffy could fight against a heavy bag that's got legs and arms, and that was Lintop in that fight. You're just gonna stand there and walk around and take these shots so that Ruffy can show us the open workout what he can actually do in his arsenal. And that showed me like, this dude is dangerous for the lightweight division. And Benoît Saint Denis is too chinny because when he gets into car crashes, he doesn't move his head, he doesn't keep into a defense. Kind of lets his hand stay up in the air, and yeah, he only really shoots when it's like not necessarily panic shooting, but when he's in danger. And yeah, I just think Ruffy also being the bigger fighter. I think, I'm not mistaken, he's actually bigger than Benoît. Let me just look at the teletype here, but I got the feeling that Ruffy's got the longer reach as well, 75 to 73. And Ruffy's a pretty big 155er, so I'm gonna favor him in terms of athleticism, and if you pair that up with his elite fighting style, And you mentioned the gym, fighting in the gym, how they game plan against opponents. There's lots of tape on Benoît Saint Denis that Ruffy could go and watch and see where you can exploit him. And I think Ruffy's gonna get him, bro. Mauricio's gonna get him. Might not be first round, but it will definitely be between round 1 and 2, in my opinion. I don't see it going to the third round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Benoît Saint Denis, understandably starting as the betting underdog here. He's starting at 2.5 for your money. Mauricio Ruffy is 1.55, but the number I want to bring your attention to here, ladies and gentlemen, is Mauricio Ruffy by TKO is less than double your money. So
Yeah.
pretty obvious what the bookies are thinking here. I do like that bet also. Just the fight finishing by KO TKO. If you want to edge a little bit there, I do like that bet. But yeah, understandably, Mauricio Ruffy is the favorite here. Benoît Saint Denis was on a 5-fight streak before he lost to Dustin Poirier, showing some fantastic, aggressive, really, just hyper aggressive grappling in those displays. And of course, that's gonna be his approach coming into this one, right? He doesn't have. He's kind of one-dimensional in his approach. Do you possibly see this being a problem for Mauricio Ruffy? This grappling every style. We know he likes to keep it on the feet as much as possible. What are your thoughts here, BG?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there is a game plan that you can deploy on the striking nerds, right? I know that we know that they all very good at jiu-jitsu. They love that side of the game as well. But we don't see athletes taking it to them or taking it to that avenue when they're in the octagon, right? No one's really shooting on Pratesh besides Ian Gary. No one's shooting on Gene Silver. I think what's his name tried it and he got choked out. What's his name? Bryce Mitchell. Right? Who's shooting on Mauricio Ruffy in his last 3 fights? None of them. Not one takedown attempt. And Benoît Saint Denis, he's got competent grappling, like you mentioned. It's aggressive. It's get you down, ground and pound you. Just make it like to his money, like his nickname, the God of War. Right? He wants to make the fight just brutal as possible. And I remember listening to Ken Flo talking about it earlier in the week, and he did say like if there's one thing that he should maybe try is to wrestle this dude from the get go, from the moment you touch gloves, shoot the double leg. Let's actually put Mauricio Ruffy in a defensive position, even if he stuffs you and he shugs you off within 2 seconds. The fight still has 3 hours. You still got 3 rounds to fight him. Do it again. Rinse and repeat. Make him defend. Make him try and shoot for uppercuts because now he's expecting to do another double leg. Instead, you go for a clinch. You throw in elbows and then you go for a single leg. Just fight the fight that is not the fight that's playing into his hands, which is we're going to stand here and we're going to charge each other up, put out a stance, and then throw our hardest punch. Like, don't get into a striking warfare with Mauricio Ruffy. Because he can get you with like things you don't even know that's coming out there. That seem impossible. So yeah, if you keep him more defensive, even if you're not winning those takedown battles, or if you're stifling in clinches, you throw in basically popcorn punches at him. It's keeping him in defensive positions and it's winding down the clock, lessening his chances to actually get that KO on you. So I mean, in principle, it sounds easy and it sounds like that's the way to go. It's just a matter of deploying this and making sure it actually works is the real deal. But let's see how it happens on the weekend. That's one of the avenues that you do will tell any fighter to fight against someone like Mauricio Ruffy. Put him on his back.
And I mean, Saint Denis does have that in his locker, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be foreign to him to go for that kind of way to win the fight. So, yeah, I mean, he does have. We always say a puncher's chance, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think if he really applies the game plan, he might give Mauricio Ruffy some trouble.
Yeah.
But of course, ladies and gentlemen, let us know those thoughts in that comment section. PG, any final words from you on this one?
Final words on that one. The game plan that BSD should deploy here is something that's similar to how Caio Borralho fights. It's a fight style that's a lot of pressure, but not pressure where he's putting himself in positions where he can get countered with maybe a countered shot, or he's pressuring you in a way that he's actually trapping you and he's limiting your options. He's giving you very few things that you can actually apply in this space, which is now you're in his world, right? That's what he should be kind of doing there. He's basically backing up Mauricio Ruffy in a way that you can only really throw these weapons at this from this space. Or you're gonna have to do a takedown first. But put him in that kind of pressure, because when you're putting someone on the back foot, you do limit their ability to think about what must I do next, because now I'm able to defend a lot, right? So that's how Borralho fights, and it's quite ironic because Borralho is the head of the team of Fighting Nerds, but that's the kind of style that will put Mauricio Ruffy in trouble.
Mm, mm. Fascinating stuff ahead. Benoît Saint Denis possibly a live dog there, coming off a win, so maybe he's got his confidence back here, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on that one. But all right then, light heavyweight division, we have the what's this guy's name? The Baltic Gladiator coming up against the Bear Jew. It is Modestas Bukauskas coming up against Paul Craig. Modestas Bukauskas is 31 years old, 18-6-0, 10 by KO, 3 by sub. 7 first round finishes. He's on a 3-fight win streak, beating Ion Kutelava by split decision in his last fight. The Bear Jew is 37 years old, still fighting, still starting as an underdog. Surprise, surprise. He's 17-9-1, 4 by KO, 13 by sub, 7 first round finishes. No wins in his last 5 fights. No contest against Adolfo Bellato in his last fight. And that was all the controversy. So yeah, whenever Paul Craig fights, bro, I do have a nasty habit of putting a bet on him. I believe that he can catch anybody slipping at any time. So it's because they always price him very well. This is the first time I've seen Paul Craig priced. He's still an underdog at 4-1, but it's the lowest. It's the closest line I've ever seen in a Paul Craig fight. He usually starts like 5, 6, 7, like around there. Yeah. So BG, is this going to be the night for me, bro? Is this the one bet, the one time I should put that bet on Paul Craig, bro? Is this the night? What are you saying, bro?
No, never. I don't. It's good. Last 5 fights, and you haven't got a single win out of it. And then you also got this like comical bullshit where you guys are. It's just comical to watch what happened in his last 2 fights with Bellato. And Modestas Bukauskas has finally hit his stride again. I remember when he came into it, there was a lot of talk about him, and then he went down on a bit of a slide, and now he's back again, and he's looking dangerous again. All that nicely for the 205 division. I think I'm gonna go with the fight that's got the momentum here. And also, if you look at how Paul Craig fought against Bellato, who I think is also a bit of a laughing stock of the fight game. Paul Craig was making the fight. He didn't look good. Even the fight against Bo Nickel, silly handwork when you're standing, not shooting for takedowns, staying on your back so you can pull guard. I'm not a Paul Craig fan, so I know he was dangerous back then, but that was back then, right? That was more than 3-4 years ago when he was getting people in submissions. The man is 39 years old, I think, something like that. 37, and the way that he fought against Bo Nickel, and there was a lot of time in the fight where we could see we've got basically 15 minutes. What are you going to do with this 15 minutes? And there was no initiative in that fight to change anything. The fight just went on the same way, and I didn't like that. It's like, so either of you going to do something different. Against Bellato, he got cracked before he threw that up kick. He was on the ground. You know what I mean? And that's also, as a professional of that age and that nature, to do that, I was like, yo, bro, you should have so much experience. You shouldn't be doing silly things like this. But this is Bukauskas, I think at this stage, clearly knows what the game plan is, right? If you look at the tape, for example, on him, you know how Paul Craig fights. You know where you can catch him. His boxing's not going to hurt you. He mainly wants to get you down and submit you, right? And then you will think about how he fought against Bo Nickel in terms of where you were standing. I think Modestas knows, okay, if I just basically keep the fight standing, stay on the outside here, he's going to show me his weapons. He's going to try and come up at me, and I'm going to crack him with something hard. And I think the physical physique of Bukauskas as well is going to be something that's difficult for Paul Craig to actually handle. You know, he's not the same fighter that he was. So I wouldn't bet on it. The body language says everything about fighters, man. And the body language of Paul Craig in his last 5 fights shows me that he's just not really going to be someone that you should be smoking Bellato, man. You know what I mean? But you're not. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't make a bet on someone that's pretty much at the end of their career. And Bukowski is on the reignition, right? He's basically reset his whole career now. If you look at his last 3 wins, so you're gonna have to go with Modestus on this one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did. Well, I did kind of make mention of the betting line, and like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this time Paul Craig is only 4-1 for your money. Usually starting around the 5 or 6 region. Paul Craig by submission is priced at 6-1 for your money.
Yeah.
So still tempting, but BG, I think I'm gonna heed your advice here and not go with the Paul Craig bet this time. For me once, shame on me. For me twice, etc., etc. So yeah, I mean, I don't even really know why Paul Craig is on this card. Why he's still in the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, I think this honestly just really degrades the card. I'm thinking of a pre-fight score here, and I'm thinking that this fight is actually going to bring it down a little bit for me, just because it's on the card. Because it's always the same with this guy, man. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on Paul Craig, ladies and gentlemen. No disrespect to the man; he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, but MMA is clearly not his thing. Having said that, he does have a win over the current champion, Magomed Ankalaev. But even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? As they say. But anyway, BG, your thoughts on this one, or final thoughts rather, before we move over.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think this fight in particular could have actually gone into the prelims,
100%.
and then they could have taken William Gomez's fight and closed it up a little bit, just because of that's in France, right? So
yeah,
him up, why have we got these two guys on the main card? We don't care. They certainly don't care.
Yeah. So, nobody cares about that really. But all right, maybe you care. Let us know in the comments. And if you can, please drop a like on the video. We'd appreciate it. We got some lightweights coming up next. We have Bolaji Oki coming up against Mason Jones. Bolaji Oki is 29 years old, 10-2-0, 5 wins by KO, 1 by sub, 4 first round finishes. Last time out, beating Michael Aswell in his last fight by unanimous decision. Coming up against Mason Jones, who is 30 years old, 12-2-0, 4 by KO, 3 by sub, 4 first round finishes. Last time out, beat Jeremy Stevens by unanimous decision. PG, over to you, bro. Not much I can say here.
Yeah, again, another fight that can't say I'm that excited about it, but I've got the sneaky suspicion that it's going to be a good fight. Just because Mason Jones is actually a dog, dude. The guy reminds me a little bit of Jack Shaw, but slightly better because he's got that killer instinct with Jack Shaw. I don't know. There was a time there was a big hype about him, and then he just faded, right? And now we've got a new Welsh fighter, that Mason Jones, that is good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as his fight against Jeremy Stevens, what was an old Jeremy Stevens that was out of UFC and brought back just for that fight card. Stevens was still an active fighter outside, like he was still competing in PKFC. He was, still training and fighting. And Mason Jones fought him, bruh. Mason Jones went in there, stood toe to toe with him. Okay, there was moments when Mason Jones had to be a little bit more intelligent and cover up, because there was times where he did get cracked by Jeremy Stevens, which you go, oh, but you shouldn't really be getting cracked by this older guy and this legend that has been there. But then what did Jones do? He wrestled him. He was like, oh, I'm going to take him down. It's MMA. You don't have to stand and bang here because the crowd's going crazy. You can just shoot in this dude, take him down, comes at your if him, win the fight. So then that showed me that Mason Jones is the kind of guy that's smart enough to fight a fight where he can take it to his victory. Whereas what's his name? Bolaji, no?
Bolaji Oki. Yeah.
Bolaji Oki, yeah, he's also a very well-rounded athlete, really good striking, a lot of explosion to the way that he goes forward, power in his hands. But also when you put the wrestling on him, you can see him, it fades him out. It makes him tired. It makes him not have that explosion in the later rounds, and he kind of loses rounds that way and then ends up losing fights. I know he only has the one loss in the UFC, but that was the one loss where it showed me, okay, if you actually wrestle this dude, he doesn't like it. And I mean, Chris Duncan is an older gentleman of the trade, and he was able to take him down and tap him out. So, yeah, I think Mason Jones is probably going to game plan that. Maybe stand and fill out the round in round one, see what Pelagi's defensive options are going to be like, but then also force him into clinches and make him a bit tired and take him down in the late, at the end of the last minute, 30 seconds of each round, take him to the ground. basically weigh him out like that. I just think that Mason Jones does have the more well-rounded game, and the fight against Steven showed me that. Stevens did put him in danger, and you know me, my whole thing is how do you respond to the danger? It shows a lot about fighters. Mason Jones was clever. He had good coaches, and I think Jack Shaw is in his corner actually. And he was able to get out of it and mitigate that dangers and win the fight. So I'm gonna go with Mason Jones, but ever so slightly. Because Balaji is very dangerous.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. And if you have any thoughts on this one, ladies and gentlemen, I certainly don't. But you can let us know in the comments. All right then, BG.
Yes, sir.
You have anything else you want to say on this one, or should we keep moving?
We can keep moving, but I think that should be an exciting fight. I think it should be.
Hopefully. Axel Sola versus Reese Muggy. Axel Sola, 27 years old, 11-1-0. 11-0-1, excuse me. 5 wins by KO, 1 by sub. Undefeated as pro with 24 amateur fights, winning 19 of them, coming up against Reese Muggy, also 29 years old. He's 14-6-1, 11 by KO, 3 by sub, 8 first round finishes, only has 1 win in his last 5 fights. Dire situation here, brother Gaia. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I don't know much about Alex Sola. I think he's a champion out of a regional scene. I had to go check him out on Tapology, see what this dude's all about. And yeah, looks like he loves to strike. Looks like he loves to get finishes. I don't like giving picks when it comes to debut fighters. So I'm not too sure, but I'll probably go with him just because he's got the better record. He's got good knockout ratio. And Reese McGee, I think I've seen his fight. I think I've only seen him fight once, and that was fight against Hamza Chimaev. It was a debut fight, and he got KO'd. So I was like, I don't know if I think this man's good. Then he fought Alex Morono, who beat him. He fought Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, who beat him. And then his last fight, obviously, he won. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to go off it just because it's both unknown factors, man. But if I must give a pick, I'm probably gonna go with Reese McGee. He's in the UFC. I don't know who the other guy is, and we've now noticed for a long time that fighters that come out of other organizations as champions and come into it here, they just don't seem to have good success. So I think that ratio might continue. That streak might continue. But he has a fantastic record. I'm almost leaning towards him just because the record looks amazing. He's also 24 amateur fights and he won 19 of them, right? And you pair that up with his pro fights, which is 12 fights. Right? That means he's got a lot of fights under his belt. He's got over 30 plus fights, right? So then he should have the experience here. He should actually be the overwhelming favorite in this fight. I don't know what the props look like, what the betting odds look like. Look there, he's the favorite. So that's my point. He should be winning the fight then.
Yeah, well, Reese McGee possibly a live underdog there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like we said, we don't have too much knowledge of these guys. Who we do know a little bit about and who seems to have fallen quite quickly from grace is Patricio Pitbull. He's opening the card here for UFC Paris, ladies and gentlemen. He's the number 11 ranked featherweight. 38 years old, a stellar record of 37-8-0, 12 by KO, 12 by sub, 12 first round finishes. Last time out, he beat our boy Danish by unanimous decision. Coming up against Lucena Keita, who is 27 years old, professional record 18-1-0, 9 wins by KO. 2-division champion in Octagon, the German organization, the premier German MMA organization.
Yeah.
So 2 guys coming from external organizations here. Yeah, I mean, it's Patricio Pitbull, bro. I mean, he's 38 years old. What are we trying to do here with this guy, you know?
Yeah. And he's fighting again immediately after Danny. I think they're really trying to get him to like fast track him to a title run in the featherweight division, but I don't think he competes against top guys in the featherweight division. I've been honest. I think they're all in his career pretty quickly. And now they match him up with a young stud that pretty much is where Pitbull was, right? 2-division champion in the divisions that Pitbull was champions in, featherweight and lightweight. And I'm just basically seeing an old version of Pitbull fighting himself here. he's fighting against a younger pitbull. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna go with the younger guy. I'm gonna go with Lesene. I don't know who's the favorite here. I don't know anything about Lesene, but if you are a 2 division champion, um, that's not easy to do in any organization, right? And you just mentioned it's the premium MMA organization coming out of Germany, and I mean Octagon is actually very highly regarded. So I'm gonna go with Lesene to get the job done. I think he's gonna utilize his vibrance and his young durability, his youngness about him, and take the fight to Pitbull, bro. It's an opportunity because before this, I don't think anyone really. I didn't know about his name. I'm pretty sure the European scene is all high on Lucene, but out here in South Africa, never heard about the guy. So, but if the UFC's giving him someone like Pitbull in his first fight, and also under the circumstances of where Pitbull is currently in the UFC, this is a make or break. It could either bring Pitbull up again, go on a 2-fight win streak, and then we give him someone a bit more ranked in the division, or he loses here and then he really gets cut from the organization, or something really bad happens to his contract, and they might just give Lesene the grace that they want to give Patricio Pitbull. Because he's 27 years old. Lesene is 27 years old. He's a 2 division champion currently, not former. He still has the title. So who knows? Who knows what happened? I think if he gets a winner, that the UFC tells him leave those 2 titles, come to UFC. We're gonna basically give you a top 15 guy, or a guy that's just outside of the top 15. But this is make or break for Pitbull, bro. This is make or break for him.
Make or break is do or die.
There we
As you
go.
may have seen a few seconds ago, ladies and gentlemen, Pitbull is starting at 2.7 underdog with Keita as the 1.48 favorite. I think Pitbull might be the biggest dog on the main card, as far as I can see here.
Oh, poor Craig.
Paul Craig, of course. Yeah, I mean, how could I forget? How could I forget? But all right, BG, that does in fact round out the main card for us. You want to talk some prelims? We can talk some prelims, BG. Why don't you talk us through the prelims, bro?
Okay, just starting with the main event on that prelim. William Papatimi Gomez taking on Robert Rochella. And did some deeper dive into them. Obviously, William Gomez, we've seen him fight for quite some time in the UFC now. Not say quite some time, but I mean he's been active, right? He's been fighting. Isn't that the best time in the UFC? I think his record in the UFC, what's that now? 5 fights, 4 wins. Okay, not too bad, but it hasn't really been like high level competition, right? It's been some good guys, and when he got Haida Emal, he lost. But still a very good striker, fancy footwork, likes to look pretty when he's out there in the octagon. And Haida Emal took it to him, and that's the kind of fight style to beat someone like Gomez, is to make it ugly, take it to him, wrestle him, put him on his back. He don't like those kind of stuff. He don't like the clinches. It's not his favorite places to fight. He wants to be on the outside and kickbox you, right? Don't know anything about Robert Ruchala, but he's 27 years old. His record is 11 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. As a pro, 3 wins by KO, 3 wins by sub, 2-fight win streak. Got an amateur record of 12 wins, 3 losses. So another guy on the regional scene that's got a good record, a good resume as well in terms of like how much fights he's gotten, and also doesn't really have that many losses. Only 4 losses if you include the amateur record as well. But it looks like he's the kind of guy that can tap you out, or you can get a knockout. So I'm not too sure what game plan he's going to deploy here, but obviously we all know that the right way to beat Gomez is to wrestle. Let's see if he can do that. This is in France. Gomez is probably going to get powered up by the French fans, and he might just put in a good performance and win this fight on decision. I'm not too sure how, but I'm going to go with Bafetimi Gomez. Let's keep it moving to another French hopeful in Omar Sy, taking on Brendan Ribeiro. This is the kind of fight where it's going to be either knockout or it's going to be a decision win for probably Omar Sy. But Omar Sy can box, right? He's got good boxing. I know he lost his last fight, but he looked very good. He looked very good in that last fight. Even though he lost, I thought he won it against Manyfield. I thought he had Manyfield beaten in 2 of the 3 rounds. He showed me good boxing, good slipping and ripping. And that's what he's going to need to do in someone like Ribeiro, who's going to be the guy that's going to rush you down and make it a grueling fight, swing on the fences when he gets up against the fence kind of stuff. And I'm going to favor Omar Sy for the knockout power. and the more competent boxing. The fight style that Ribeiro has is the kind of style that either gets him wins or gets him losses, because if he just goes in there and rolls up the sleeves and goes all in, right, that's the kind of fighter you're going to get from Ribeiro. It's just a matter of how Omar Sy responds to this. And the way that he fought against Manyfield showed me that he's a very composed kind of fighter. So I'm going to go Omar Sy for the win here, and he's going to get the French crowd hype. And hopefully that's going to give Bafétimbi Gomez the power that he needs to get his win. But let's keep it moving to the last notes that we have. Marcin Tybura, one of the mainstays of the heavyweight division, ranked number 7. I actually want to see him start climbing the division now. There was a time when he was going on a streak, and then he came up against the best guys, and obviously they schooled him. But Marcin Tybura is ranked number 7 in the heavyweight division, 39 years old. His record is 27 wins, 9 losses, 0 no contest, 10 wins by KO, 7 wins by sub, 11 first round finishes, 2-fight win streak, beating Mick Parkin, who I thought was going to beat him, by the way. But he beat Mick Parkin by an unanimous decision. He's taking on newcomer in Ante Dalija. I think he's how he spelled. He's 35 years old. His record is 25 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest, 11 wins by KO, and 7 wins by sub. So on paper, he looks to be a dangerous athlete, a dangerous foe for Marcin Tybura. I don't know what to make of it. Looks like there you see it's a pick-em fight. I don't know what to make of it. It looks like Ante is a bit of a finisher, right? That's what he likes to do in his fights. So let's see what he does here. Marcin Tybura he's not a guy that's scared of that. He doesn't step away from the fire, right? He likes to get in the pocket and let the boxing go. Marcin Tybura is a good guy, good fighter. And I expect him to win, but let's see what happens. It's a tough one to say when you have an unknown factor that looks this good on paper. So I don't know, but I'm gonna put my money on Marcin Tybura at the end of the day. And then just to give you some names on the rest of the prelims, AD, if you can put the rest of the fights on the screen there. Sam Patterson, an England hopeful. I know that the fight disciples speak highly of him. Wasn't the best performance in his last fight, but let's see what he does this night or this weekend. We also have Brad Tavares on the fight card. I thought this guy was retired, but he's still around. Let's see what he does against Robert Brishek. I don't know anything about Robert Brishek. And then obviously we've seen what's this guy Renat fight before. Not really the most fun fighter to watch, but let's see what happens there. And then Sean O'Bannon is gonna get out wrestled in the opening fight of this fight card.
Okay, thanks, brother Gaia, and that does round out UFC Fight Imavov versus Borralho quite nicely for us. Please give us a pre-fight score for the card, BG.
Overall pre-fight rating for this fight card from prelims all the way up, I'm gonna give it a solid 5.5. The bulk of those points have been carried by the main event, to be honest, and the co-main event. But let's see. Hopefully, it goes. It boosts. I might give it a 6 because of the starting time for us in South Africa. But yeah, I'm hopeful that it'll go higher by the end of the weekend.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. I'm gonna go with a 4, ladies and gentlemen. I think this card is well below par, and all 4 of those points are coming from the main event. Good to see Mauricio Ruffy in the co-main event, but I think it's a bit of a layup for him there, so I'm not putting too much stock into that one. But let us know your out of 10 score for this card, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the comment section. We're very curious to know what you think about this one. But if you have made it this far, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. We got new content coming every day, so you can watch the podcast every day.
This one super end up leaving. I guess I'm signing us out, please. Okay, I'll be doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And what you're gonna expect, like I said, we've been saying all week, there is a live watch along for One Friday Fights 1, 2, 3. We'll also be doing a preview for that, which will be releasing tomorrow or Thursday to be more specific. I know I'm saying tomorrow, but some places it's already Thursday. And then also we're doing a live on Saturday morning for One Fight Night 36. Stay tuned for that. And then hopefully see you all live on that one and catch you on the recaps on the same time. But until then, have a very, very good rest of the week. For myself and Fighting with Friends, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
But Mabababo, how you say his name?
Fabio Maldonado.
Fabio Mababo